All right. Oh, well, look at that. There's a little weird thing with dice. Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty
All right.
low tech. This is
I like it.
my Gorn rubber suit.
Yes, I like it.
Imagine a September of a 1970 that never was. Imagine that a new Star Trek series arises from the ashes of one taken from us too soon. A bold new crew, a brave new ship, a brand new mission, a crisis response, traveling to the far corners of the galaxy to bring rescue, to bring aid, to bring defense to those who need it, despite the cost to ship and crew.
When people eat Doritos, one good crunch leads to another.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a Thursday night across Middle America, 7 p.m., and a new show loosely tied to that Star Trek franchise that people have heard about has been announced, and tonight is its pilot episode. If it's liked, if it's picked up in the Nielsen ratings, it may continue. It is September 9th, 1970. Dad is settling down on the sofa with the newspaper and a disgruntled look on his face.
With his cigarettes and his ashtray.
Mom is looking through the cutout from the kitchen into the living room, and the kids are, right up against the TV despite mom's orders. Can't wait for the show to start. And then
You go blind if you sit that close.
then you hear it. That sound. The opening music of Star Trek. And the iconic opening that you're waiting for, space, the final frontier. It doesn't happen. Then you remember, this is the pilot episode. We fade to a commercial about soap, and then, once it's over, and the little happy bubble guy has finished his song and dance, we zoom in on the bridge of the USS Avicenna. At the command console, we see a Vulcan. Sitting in the helmsman's position, we see a bright young ensign. And by the security console, we see a perhaps less bright, less young, but very responsible looking security officer. The communications officer, Smith, Anya Smith, has just notified the acting captain that they must leave dry dock in order to rendezvous with a Miranda Class hospital ship, which has responded to a large-scale disaster at a Federation colony near the Beta Quadrant. Details are sketchy, but Starfleet is going to report more of these details while you're en route. They acknowledge that this interrupts your refit process, but according to the reports from the chief engineer, they feel certain that the ship is fit for duty, as is its crew. And then Anya Smith waits for your reply.
I will go to open comms on the ship. Crew of the I was pronouncing Avicenna.
You're probably right.
The Persian is Sina, so I assume it's a softer S. Crew of
Go
the
for it.
Avicenna. We have been called to duty a little earlier than planned. I have faith in the crew. We have reports from all stations saying we are fit for duty. We will be leaving dry dock shortly and meeting a hospital ship for duty near the Beta Quadrant. All crew to stations. Prepare to engage.
Hear that, Ensign Yang? Time to toughen up.
Ensign Yang is checking on the propulsion systems to make sure everything's all go.
All right. That would normally be a difficulty 0 task, but in this particular situation where you're in space dock, right? It's time to go to the dice.
Yes.
I have the dice arranged here. All right. Normally you would get 2d20, right? Difficulty is 0. I'm going to give you a little quiz. What do you think should be the traits associated with this roll?
Traits.
Your attributes and disciplines.
Attributes, right.
Okay.
Thank God. Hey, we studied this, man. You don't mess with the terms on us.
Traits.
Exactly.
So, for example,
Sure,
your
you're
discipline
right.
obviously will be
Right.
con.
Anthony's ignoring us. Pick an attribute of discipline.
Will obviously be con.
Um,
But we need to learn a little bit about Ensign Young. How is he approaching this con task? Control, daring, or presence?
As he learned from Starfleet Academy, the Starfleet Academy manual, it should be control.
Sir, yes, sir.
Buy the book.
So for Ensign Young, control and con is a 14.
Yes, that's correct.
So on the 2d20,
P20.
yeah,
I will not have any reason to increase any threat at this point.
and no ability to.
Yeah, we need momentum. This is how we get our momentum so we can do it.
Would now the ship is an assist on this, isn't it?
That is
he's
correct.
controlling, so he would get a die from the ship.
Right. And for the ship, right, you will be drawing from systems and departments. Right. So again, this is con. And the systems here very likely will be engines. All right. So that's a 13 on the ship die. And someone else should roll the ship die. Okay. Now that assist doesn't matter if Ensign Young drives us into the pylons or fails to draw the information that he wants or whatever it is, right? So if the main character's role fails, the assistance doesn't.
I see.
In
Okay.
which case,
So, sister, right. If
all right, let's go ahead, Ron. You roll first.
oh yeah, okay. I have rolled an 18.
Okay. Maybe it was perhaps some nerves on his first assignment to an actual ship outside Starfleet Academy's holographic simulations. He rolls a 16 and a 15. He fails utterly on his first assignment.
Okay. So we can understand this, right? Right directly behind you. If you remember the layout of the bridge, there's the captain's chair, and then there's your chair, and nothing else. Everyone else is seated around you, like in an arena circle, right?
That's right.
So the face of the captain is directly behind you.
Drilling a hole into the back of your head.
And of course, you've got the whole helm console. Navigation is there, you know, the big dial to adjust down by the legs. And there's no second officer's seat up there. It's just the one seat and this
Right,
console.
we're
You've
little.
got the whole thing.
Right.
So where is
We're
it?
not
Where
we're
is-
not the caddy that the Enterprise is, right? You got one helmsman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So somehow the systems check that you wanted to bring up, the information doesn't present itself to you in a way that is as useful or as fast as you wanted. You're starting to get conflicting reports. Astronavigation comes in talking about power fluctuations, and engineering is putting up a menu option of specific things not to do. Right. Now, overall, there is a green condition. The ship is fit for duty. However, there is a long, overwhelming laundry list of things that aren't finished.
Yeah, shit to do.
I
A little
report
bit
to
like
the
my
captain.
house.
I report to the captain that although all systems are green on the instruments, there is still a lot of chatter and a lot of preparations that hasn't been done yet. So the checklist still goes on.
Are we
Ensign,
okay?
Ensign, I understand we are not at optimal refit yet. Take a look at your con. I have faith in your ability to get us out of this dry dock. Perhaps you'd like to try again.
He nervously stutters, "Yes, sir."
Right.
So what is the implications of a try again in this system in particular? Which
Well-
I believe it sort of requires a change of circumstance in most
Right.
cases.
My understanding
can I
of
ask
that, though.
something? What is the narration of the failure? I mean, have we actually run into a pylon? I mean, what
Oh, no.
has occurred due
He
to
had
the failure?
he had
I need
wanted to
that.
know the condition of the ship.
Shit.
And the failure was represented in being overwhelmed. He doesn't really have a clear sense of what to report to the captain.
Okay.
He has all the information he needs. He didn't fail to use the computer. He's a highly trained Starfleet officer. He got
yeah.
the information he looked for. He doesn't have the experience to sort through it.
Yes.
So he reported to the best of his ability with a not very informative comment to the captain, who then told him, "Fine, let's leave dry dock," which is a totally new role.
Okay.
All right.
So, does this represent the acting captain giving an assist?
I could go through with actually, I could go two ways on this. I could make this a command, so a presence and command.
Yeah, that's
But I do have a talent with doctor's orders, and given that this is such a young ensign, I might pull out some of my psychology here to give him a little bit of extra encouragement in a way that doesn't belittle his slight failure on the previous one. So switch over to medicine instead of command with my presence role.
ooh.
Okay.
Oh, so we get to see sort of your medical side rather than your.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. None of us are happy with presence and command sitting in the chair. I think none of us like that.
Yeah. Ensign, this is a new ship. We are under, there are a few things still going wrong. We completely understand that. This is a little bit of a stressful time. Take your time with it. Check your controls. Take us out of dry dock. I believe that you have sufficient skills to get us underway. Engage at your leisure.
Okay. So that is a 2d20 roll. It will be control plus con this time. Unless you want to go for daring because of the previous failure, and that's your choice.
at this point, I think, having the assurance from the captain, he thinks that he should try to at least make a good first impression of his skills rather than his boldness.
There's the ship die, which will be red.
Same thing as
And-
before, right?
Yeah, except now there's 4 dice because the captain is giving an assist. All right, so that's
So
I roll 2.
Okay,
I roll 2. The captain rolls 1, and the ship rolls 1.
I'll do the ship.
you got it.
Ron, could you do a captain die there as well? I still don't have any hard.
I'm rolling for you? Sure. Gotcha.
Yeah, please.
All right. Your captain die gives us a 9.
Okay.
The
Presence
ship die,
and-
the ship is really letting us down. I roll a 19 on the ship after 18 on the last one or whatever it was. So,
Right.
yeah.
We're working our way up into complication range. That's exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, ship's giving us hassles.
My presence plus medicine is 15, so the
Right,
9
so-
should give the extra on that one. Yeah.
Yep.
So the good news is, without resorting to my daring, I actually rolled a 13 and a 10, so they are both successes.
Excellent. So it's higher than the focus. So these are all single successes,
These are single successes.
but that means we get 3 successes to move us out of dry dock, which is great. Now, one thing I forgot to say, and in the excitement of making sure that everybody knew what they were doing, is what the difficulty was. It was a difficulty 2 task.
Ooh, one momentum.
We have earned 1 momentum. Yes.
And it shall go to the pool. No reason to spend it now.
Oh, well, we need a threat. I'm bored. And everyone else like, no!
I was thinking of getting a threat if I fail again.
I've been looking forward to this. It's like, ooh, threat.
Can you take a threat after the roll has been made?
No, it's all before.
No. Okay.
That's all
All
later.
before.
Yeah.
So if the captain wasn't giving an assist, if the difficulty was higher and like in the impossible range to get on 2 dice, then obviously the player would go for taking extra dice with threat, and the price increases. You get 1 die for 1 threat,
One.
an extra 1 for 2 more threat,
Right.
and
Right.
the last one, because you can have a
It's
maximum of
3.
5, the last one for 3 threat. So you can really ramp up the
Yeah,
the
you
threat
can
pool
get 6
quickly.
threat for your 3 dice. Yeah, I like it.
And also remember, you can mix buying with momentum and threat. If you
Right.
Yeah.
Well, oh my God. Then there's determination. Oh,
Determination.
right.
It's a free.
Actually,
it's a
he
free
could have
roll.
gotten extra die from determination right there, right, in that roll.
If
you want it.
If I had a value.
right, if
You have
in
1.
which case,
if there's
Oh,
a
right.
value that matters.
Right.
you can
right,
only
right,
use
okay.
determination when the condition meets.
Right.
So yeah, determination, we're not going to see that often by comparison. Momentum and threat, we're going to see all the time. We're going to see power all the time from the ship. But the determination comes up specifically when it's relevant to your character and their values. Okay.
Got it.
Now, course information comes in from Starfleet Command, which is fed in through Anya Smith to Ensign Young, who gets the information. The orders are starting to come in from the security console, or to the security console, and to the captain's chair
Okay.
about the
And
rendezvous.
I'll state outright, security orders arriving, Captain. Or what I say, Commander. Right? His rank is Commander.
Commander?
Right. So, in fact, I might even, yeah, I like that. I actually stutter over that. I'm like, security orders incoming, Commander.
Doesn't phase.
No, it's just,
Yep. Yep.
I like it.
It's
No, it
interesting.
doesn't phase the captain either, the commander. Understood.
The captain
Thank
is a commander.
you.
Traditionally, he's referred to as captain, but 10 minutes ago, he was commander.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
We're-
Yep.
Okay. So the ship needs to go to warp in order to meet with the USS Potemkin.
Potemkin. Okay.
Coordinates are laid in. Going to warp in this type of situation is not a big deal, meaning difficulty 0. However, with the ongoing drama, it may be necessary. To go to warp costs ship power. And in a combat situation or something like that, that will be of much more importance than it is now. Right? We're going into warp in a completely peaceful situation. We'll spend the power and regenerate the power without any difficulty. But every time you make that call,
may I review the security, the information that's come through on the orders?
Absolutely.
I might even, for no evident reason, repeat the orders into the air.
Excellent.
As occasionally occurs. Yes.
Which brings up, I guess, the last major hurdle of any Star Trek role-playing, the obtain information situation, which Galaxy Quest highlighted so perfectly. I repeat the computer because that's my role.
I embrace the convention, and we'll do so unironically. I am okay with this.
There are situations
No
where it's going to come up that way. In heightened situations, what I would prefer is that you ask for information, I tell you what the information is, and we assume that there has been
disseminated.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that
you can
sounds
act.
great. Excellent. Okay.
All right. So reviewing the orders. This is a border world, and it's a Federation outpost, and there has been, this is just like the mission briefing, right, to remind any and all crew. This particular border world, it has a security classification which identifies that it's an outpost and that it has a certain security threat attached to it, in that it's very close to the Romulan neutral zone, and it's also very close to the very poorly defined, very poorly understood border with the Gorn hegemony.
Ooh. All right. May I add some cinematography to this, if that's okay?
Absolutely.
The security crew of the Avicenna is probably it's not an army. And I actually will probably be transferring this into a specialized security report, in security language for my orders to the security team. And so I'll actually be doing that right there from my security console. I will actually be speaking into the security console and saying and punching what they need to know so that information is there for them. Not to make, also clear to the viewer of the show in doing so. I encouraged the other players to do the same as what I'm going to do now. Korsakov he'll identify himself for the first time, right, on screen. This is Lieutenant Korsakov, and then I give these phrases to them. But he is not really actually all that old. He's about 30 or 31. He is, however, has that 1960s way that the actors move, so you actually know that they can do things like vault fences and stuff. I mean, watch DeForest Kelley move, right? Mm-hmm. Watch him move, and he can break into a run. He can go stock still. He can jump onto a horse, that kind of thing, which you don't see in the later shows. They don't train actors that way, right, in later TV. And so he moves like that, and and the one sort of aged thing about him are these thick eyebrows. He doesn't have a unibrow, but he's got these thick eyebrows and a bit of eye sockets that are fairly deep. If he wants to brood, you're going to get brood. So that's the dark-haired guy, and so that's his we get a look at him doing this. I'm just curious about sort of this punchy impression from each of you when we get the chance.
So for most of this display, the camera angle has been from up in the roof of the curved roof of the bridge, and we're now drifting across the, I guess, stoic face of the captain to move beyond into over the shoulder shot of Korsakov working at his console with all the lighted jewel-like buttons and the swirling kaleidoscope scanners.
Yeah.
This is another situation that the ship has to deal with. You'll notice that there are many bridge stations around the curving sides of the bridge. But because of the refit, all of the previous reorganization of those panels has been reset to factory reset, to the way it came out of the shipyards originally. Whereas a ship that operates with a crew this small normally combines bridge stations together for one officer to be able to handle what looks like two stations on the layout that I gave you. You notice there's a large station and a smaller station next to it. You're used to that having been one person station. It's now back to being two people's station.
A little more movement between stations.
That's annoying. I'm
as we
going to have
jump
to
around.
reset that. I'm going to go to like the, I might even like look at Anya or what's her rank? Lieutenant commander, maybe?
The communications officer?
Yeah.
She's lieutenant, yeah.
Okay, so she's a fellow lieutenant. And I'll turn to her and I'll even say, geez, I don't know how to address her yet. We'll find out.
Just
So,
1 second.
yeah. So should I wait till Joe returns?
Continue, unless it's going to specifically.
Yeah, unless he involves him.
So I actually will be saying let's get that let's get that console slaved over to yours, which is something we knew we would have to do, but now we're going to have to do it like in flight. So we can't go on. I mean, I can't. You shouldn't have to run across the bridge to go and do that thing. So let's get that. So we might be poking at it. Maybe if there's an engineering ensign or something up there, then maybe we can get that going.
Right. So as the ship is making its way out of the system and moving its way into the warp point.
Oh, weapons console needs to come over to the security console. That's exactly what we have to do. Oh, great. I'll go fuck around with the weapons console now. What could go wrong?
Right. So Anya Smith has sent out notifications to ensigns and other junior grade lieutenants who should be filling bridge positions as the ship is making its way out of the interior solar system and out to a point where it can safely enter warp. Coordinates have been assigned. And the rest of the security report is simply that this outpost, as we said, is not between, but within uncomfortable proximity to the very clearly defined and generally pretty peaceful Romulan neutral zone and the very ill-defined and still very nebulous border with the Gorn. Very recently, Starfleet has circulated information about the USS Enterprise and their encounter with two species, the Gorn and the Metrons, which has caused a great deal of concern, obviously, but very little information is
especially
coming
because
down.
we somehow managed to have an outpost right in the middle of it without knowing it.
Exactly.
Yeah, until now. Swell. All right, then.
All right. So this is where we're heading, to rendezvous with a Miranda Class ship in the crisis response fleet, right, which has been heavily converted to be a hospital ship.
Mhm.
So the initial security report is that it seems like a natural disaster. There's reports of earthquakes, massive tectonic upheaval, power loss, and this sort of stuff. And many, many casualties the casualty report was climbing during the report. There's even a brief clip of the subspace chatter, and you can see it's all distorted and continually breaking up, and you can see that the background is shaking, and ceiling is raining down on the speaker as they keep restarting their message. Starfleet command, Starfleet command.
Right. Is Anya Smith like maybe reviewing this stuff while we're, I'm like, let's review the reports from Starfleet.
Right.
I'll say to her, and we'll be checking that out. No, we're busy. I got to move that console controls over. She's going through this. I got to know because this is security relevant. All right. I'm busy.
And just as the security officer is keeping himself busy, the ensign just turns back to the captain and reports that coordinates are in, courses is charted, ready to enter into warp speed. On your command.
Is there a choice of warp here? Like, I know warp 6 is our typical maximum. In an emergency situation like this, it would be normal to go to warp 6, for example. Get there.
The engineer will complain.
Yeah, we are the hot rod ship. Remember?
Yeah.
Right, we rev. The Enterprise doesn't rev. We rev.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send reports to engineering. We will be requesting warp 6.0 for this trip. We want to get there with maximal time to help out with the US Potemkin. Once you have confirmation from engineering, engage at warp 6. Ensign.
I send the orders down to engineering, and I try to look out for any signs of disgruntlement from the engineering staff.
There's a tone, right? The answer is just is like, aye, sir. But there's a tone. There's this sense that, and it's not an explosion, but there's some sound like some kind of arcing energy or something in the background.
Yeah.
And
Okay. I wonder if maybe my difficulty 0 roll can, or maybe it's more than 0. I don't know. I would like very much to roll my control plus my engineering and use my phaser tech focus to make sure that we have set up some nice, that the bridge setup, as previously discussed, is properly done.
For security and tactics.
I want the weapons console over there on the security console, and I want us shipshape in this perhaps overdue for inspection system that we've got here.
There is enough time in this warp journey, even at warp 6, to make this happen. And an ensign from engineering comes up to assist, to be that extra pair of hands. And so, this won't be a difficulty 0 roll. However, this will be.
I can hear engineering complaining already.
They're complaining now. Yeah.
Toughen up, assholes.
The difficulty is 1. This is something that you can do, but because the ship is in operation, et cetera, it's totally challenging. Right, so difficulty 1, you start out with 2 dice.
Okay, and let me review my little notes. What a focus permits me to do is that it permits more successes within the roll, but it's not extra dice.
That is correct.
Okay.
So if you roll the focus
can I be
or less, it will
say
double.
that again. Sorry.
If you roll the focus or less, so if your focus is on a discipline of 4, if you roll 4 or less, then that's not 1 success; it's 2 successes.
Right. And got it. And also, I am going to invoke more system that I did without thinking about it. I said toughen up again, which is a value. So I'm going to see if I can spend this point of determination that I've got for another die. Is that correct?
All right. So we want to bring the value of toughen up into this. All right. Fair enough. The point of determination adds a die as though it had already been rolled, and
okay.
as though it had rolled a 1. So
Ooh,
you spend
awesome.
the point of
Okay, so I'm going to place it down as, if I can find my 1 on my 20-sided die, which is eluding me. There we go.
Is that a little
Right.
overkill this early on?
You know what?
Determination is like a
I am
sledgehammer.
okay with that. I'm taking this very seriously because
Okay.
you are an untried commander and are up there with your pompous Vulcan face on. And the
Mhm.
ensign has already choked at a basic task. And we are at warp factor 6 going into a hideously dangerous zone, which I just learned and relayed to my team. And I am thinking that if I don't have my weapon systems up here, we are, I want the special effects that we never saw in the Enterprise that's going to wow all the fans when I actually take the thing down that folds out of the console and moves in front of me, right? It's a thing. It's a nifty new thing, right? So I want one of those. So I'm saying, you know, somebody's competent on this bridge crew, and we're going to see my determination showing through on that.
All right.
So,
I think there's some
and
justification.
you can always get more determination by doing more shit too. So
Sort of. Yeah.
okay, ready to go with my 2 dice in addition to my 1.
Yeah.
Ooh, oh wow. Okay, I roll a 5 and a 9, and I believe I was using my control and my engineering, which gives me a 13. So that means I have 2 successes plus the other 1. So I nail it.
Right. Plus the other
right?
2.
2 successes.
Right.
Yeah,
So
4.
first of all, 2 more momentum for the pool, right? And so yeah, we get a good look at somebody who knows his job, you know, speaks properly to the ensign, right? Gets that done. So
Right.
Was that 3 successes or 4 successes?
4.
That's 4.
4 successes. For
oh,
difficulty
because
2
of the
task.
right, because of the
Termination buys 2.
right,
And you got 2 on your rolls.
right, and using the focus, does that do more things? That's
If you
more
roll,
successes, because I did. Each one of those is actually hitting. Whoa,
under
this is where I'm
under-
losing myself here.
Under
Is
the
it
your,
under
focus-
your discipline?
which discipline are you using?
What's your engineering?
I was using my engineering, and I'm using my focus for phaser tech.
right.
What's your
It
engineering?
has to roll under the engineering number.
Yes, and my engineering number is 4, and neither is under a 4,
Right.
so I don't get that.
It's
Okay,
just a
got it.
success. It's not.
right,
not an-
good enough.
all right.
Learning. This is good. Okay, so I'm done. I showed off.
Okay, so here's our current. We have 6 threat, which I can spend to make things more interesting, and you have 3 momentum. Now you currently had those momentum, and if we had wanted to assign this thing to an extended task, right? Which we're not going to do, but if we were doing it as an extended task, you'd have those momentum in hand to buy more work with, or to be more effective.
Punch the next guy with. Yeah.
Right. And then when you were finished, if you had any momentum left over, they could go into the bank. Right. So we've moved them into the bank. This can be spent by anybody. It doesn't need to be discussed.
Right.
You don't have to ask. When it's your turn, you can take it. Right. All right. So, are there any other tasks that anyone else would like to complete while in warp?
I would like to contact the medical bay to get an update on everything there. This is sort of a personal concern. I'm not sure if I've had a conversation with our chief medical officer yet. And considering we're going through a medical situation, I would like to check up to see who we actually have there. I assume I have the person's report anyway.
You do. This person has transferred in just yesterday. And it's a very unusual situation, really. The former, the person has been transferred in to be the assistant to the chief medical officer, which yesterday was you.
Right.
Exactly. Right.
Yep.
and is now suddenly, as of 15 minutes ago, the chief medical officer, and they are Andorian.
Ooh.
Okay. Nifty.
This was part of an exchange program. So your former assistant is now on an Andorian vessel and didn't much want to go.
Okay. And the name of this Andorian medical officer?
Roughly, for most of the humans, it sounds mostly like Jim. It's not Jim. Everybody knows it's not Jim, but so far it's coming out as Jim.
Rank?
Perhaps in future episodes, we can get closer to the correct pronunciation of this character.
What's the character's rank?
The current rank is Lieutenant Commander. However, when acting as the Chief Medical Officer, it's one rank higher than whoever they are dealing with.
Right. Right. Well, that's why we have the current captain situation that we have. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Could I? Where is this occurring? I mean, what do we see?
I would probably stay at my post and ask to be put through to Jim in the medical bay, and I'll play it out.
Right.
Lieutenant Smith, can you get me Lieutenant Commander Jim in the medical bay? I would like a report on current status and thoughts on the situation we're going to.
Yes, sir. I'll pipe it to your chair.
Okay.
Hmm?
Is it just audio or is there a visual?
Well, would you like to have a little screen?
Bring them up on screen.
Oh, on the whole screen, on the main screen.
Bring them up on main screen. Yeah.
Hey, man, we spent
We
money
need
on
to-
that makeup. We want it big.
There's a little hesitation from
Right.
Lieutenant Smith, but then she goes, "Yes, sir," and brings.
Can we have like a quick exchange of glances among the humans we know on the bridge right now? Me, Smith, and Yang. All of us, like this is like the first time on a Federation ship that we've got like two alien officers, both of which can tell us all what to do, ever. Right? I mean, there's just the quick human glances. It's like, dude,
What are they doing?
we're all outranked.
They're
by
taking
these
over
two
the
here.
ship.
Yeah. You know, I'm not saying no expressions, right? Just like,
Just knowing glances.
yeah.
The first image of.
Can I just do a little bit of intent here?
Yeah.
This is part of the idea. This is a Vulcan commander, which is already unusual, introducing a new Andorian chief medical officer, which is also very unusual. And the idea of bringing them up on the screen is we really need to normalize the look of this person quickly with everybody. So to really introduce
We're
them,
coping
bring
over
it all
here.
together.
Don't know about accepting, but we're coping.
Let's turn this into a task. This
Exactly.
sounds like something that you're actually
I'd like
trying
to make
do.
this I'd like to make this a presence and command situation to get everyone used to each other. And
Oh man! So theme
familiar
music just
with each
came,
other.
theme music just came up. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So presence plus command.
Can I throw in, since we're doing a visual, a sudden shocking, can I do timing is everything for a value here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw that we saw the game master kind of start. I think that's a deep indication of such a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Timing is everything. All right. So we're starting with determination, having been spent. Okay. You're starting with 2 dice. Would you like to add with threat? Would you like to buy more dice with momentum or a mixture?
I think I'm going to take one of those momentums here. This is an important moment for the crew.
Okay. Done.
Okay. Again, I have no dice. Ron, would you do the honors?
Yeah. Oh, goody. So what with all the mechanics flying in every which way, what am I rolling, Anthony?
Okay, I'm going to turn the dice cam back on.
Can I have an attempt at figuring out what it is?
Yeah, please do.
I think I've got it. So my presence and command, which would be the two that I'm choosing here, would be 14. I've got my 2 dice plus the momentum dice would be 3 dice in total.
Yep.
The value would mean anything under a 4 would be 2 successes.
No, you already have
that
2
right?
successes.
This one, or no, this one, this blue one, has rolled a 1. And that counts as 2 successes.
You already have 2.
Okay?
Ah, cool. Yep.
Give me a
Little
minute.
delta.
My dice bag is, all the D20s are like hiding from my groping hands inside my dice bag.
Oh,
so
I think Anthony did the
this
roll
is
for
like-
me.
I didn't roll it yet.
Oh,
I'm just
Oh,
saying
okay.
you
It's
bought
showing
1
you the
die with
determination.
determination.
Okay, okay, and so that means that this blue, see, I had to find the blue one because he was saying blue.
Okay.
So my analog blue die to your display up there is set at a 1 on my table.
There you go.
And then I pick up 3 more to roll, is that correct?
2.
2 more to roll.
2.
And anything under a 14, right?
He's
Right.
also spending momentum.
Hang on.
I'm
Yeah, we'll get there.
Okay.
okay.
The determination is done. It equals 2 successes.
Did I
We're
spend,
spending
I,
1 point of momentum to get an extra die, right?
Done.
Yes or no?
Yes, oh wait.
Yes, I'm spending momentum, but we didn't spend determination, did we?
That's why you would invoke the value.
So value.
Okay, gotcha.
Right.
You invoke a value that means spending determination, does it?
Right. And it's not always something that you can do.
Okay, right.
It's not there so that you can willy-nilly use determination. You only got 1, and you're going to have to challenge the value in order to get 1 back, or the captain
Or 3
will
more.
have to find a way to restoke your fires of
Gotcha.
determination.
Okay. I didn't realize invoking a value spent determination, but I'm
Yes,
okay with that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
We're
So then we're
throwing
looking
it
at
all
4
into our
dice.
first scenes here. We gotta win over the crowd, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
We're looking at 4 dice, only 3 that you need to roll,
Mhm.
and your presence plus command is 14.
14.
That's correct.
So anything under 14 is a success.
Yes.
Right.
Here goes.
And you're being diplomatic, I would say.
Okay.
Which is your
invoking
focus.
Which is a focus.
So
yes.
we'll examine that after the roll. Okay.
Yeah.
There go the dice. Okay, you will be pleased to know that I roll a 2, a 3, and a 13.
Oh,
So all of those are under 14. And your focus is based on your command, correct? Which
That's
must
correct.
be pretty high.
Which is a 4.
So, yeah, so 2 of them also give extra successes. To my understanding, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Make it so.
So all of our little human glances are suddenly like, he means it.
Uh-huh.
He means it. This guy's
This
going
is
to
the
consider us a
Avicenna.
team. Yeah, this is us.
When
This is
the
us.
chief medical
We
officer
have no
does
choice.
come on
I get
screen,
it.
I will say, Lieutenant Commander Jim, good to have you on board. We are heading to a medical situation, and I would like a overview report of the medical bay and new medical shuttles. If you can give us a quick summary of our status.
There's one thing I'd like to do before we move on to that is that you've got a whole bunch of momentum in your hands.
Yeah.
more than enough. I think we've.
And there is a potential problem, which I guess that you have identified in the crew, where there may be discomfort with the Andorian medical officer and yourself.
Right.
So something you can do with this momentum is to spend 2 of it to create an advantage.
Okay.
So this is assigning a scene trait or a situational trait to the ship,
Oh, totally.
such as what you said earlier, normalizing
Right.
the
That's
relationship.
the trait now.
Absolutely. If I can spend 2 of them to normalize his, I'm giving him the opportunity to show his expertise. His
Right.
or her?
Him.
Him. Okay. Mhm.
So there you go. The
Okay.
game master was going to role play a kind of adversarial relationship, which would have generated threat in coming scenes, and this has now been negated by this action.
And your determination, which I
Mhm.
greatly appreciate in action here. Yeah.
Cool.
So pretty cool.
Mhm.
All right, off with the dice game. So he responds. The first image, right? The white hair, the blue antenna, the stark blue face, really intense eyes, very close to the camera. It's one of the wall mounted.
Yeah, he's gonna.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly.
But you can just make out, on his upper sleeve, there is an actual weapon. It's designed to cover the knuckles, and it has a curved blade, and it's right there where it can be easily accessed. Right, and so he's very, very close in. Yes, exactly like that. Right.
Cool.
And yes, everything's ready.
Pull out your tricorder during play.
It's called an ulu. It's a northern Inuit knife. I use it for cutting pizza.
Awesome.
Yep.
Because we have frozen pizza in Canada. He's very close to the screen. He's very intense, and he's reporting that everything is now ready in sickbay.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
But then he catches himself and says, the crew has lots of training. I'm very impressed with their skills. I'm going to be reorganizing, but that's a personal taste.
Thank you, Lieutenant Commander. We look forward to your suggestions on how to improve the medical bay system. We will be needing your expertise shortly.
I'll head down to the shuttle bay and see what needs to be done there.
Mm-hmm.
Jim out.
Okay.
All right. We arrive at Xenon 5. Xenon 5 is not a hospitable environment for most Federation species, and the outpost requires domes, so the tectonic activity was an extreme threat to the safety of the people there. And as the ship drops out of warp, immediately on standard sensors, the Potemkin is identified. I need a sensors
What
check.
color is the planet?
What color is the planet? It is a dark and virulent purple with cobalt-colored seas.
Okay, census check. What is exactly involved here?
Well, this could either be Ensign Young or our security officer, or they can work together in tandem.
Let's go ahead and work together. In fact, I'll say, Ensign, let's combine our analysis.
All right, because just looking at the Potemkin far out, it's very small on the main viewer, right? But looking at it, there's something not right. It's not in orbit.
I'll wait for a report from these two first before
I'll bring that attention to the captain.
Yeah, something's not right, sir. Yeah.
I report the distance that we are away from the ship, from the Potemkin, but also bring up the irregularities that it doesn't seem to be in the proper place where a rescue operation should be taking place on a, on an urgent Federation outpost.
I'll hit the switch to engineering and say, weapons tech, stand by, prepare.
Yes, sir.
The captain will raise an eyebrow at that, but we'll leave it at security privilege.
Ensign cuts in again just to make a short request. Request to make a recommendation to the captain, sir.
Please report before we. I'll say, Lieutenant Smith. I'll hold on communications briefly. Ensign, your report.
So the ensign suggests that we should try to engage maybe in more stealthier maneuvers towards the ship, or maybe a heightened alert state.
Yeah, your two officers here, both of us are like, our antennae are just twitching all over the place. Yeah.
Let's get the Potemkin on sensors. See if you can give me some details about a potential problem, and then we'll decide on approach.
All right, so I will engage the ship sensors as making the approach towards sensory range for the Potemkin.
So that means you're going to be using a ship system to do something. So the ship is going to contribute a die. And it will be using its computers plus sensors to frame that role. Okay. So that's a 7 and an 8, giving us a 15.
15, right.
And the security officer is assisting the ensign, or is it the other way around?
I think I would be assisting the ensign.
All right. So I will lead the check.
There you go. So for you, that will be.
I do have a trait of, a talent of constantly watching, just in case this involves, if it's relevant.
That's for enemy signs, I think.
Impending hostilities. Oh, really? We're both constantly watching.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. All right. Exactly. Really.
All right. So for the sensor check for the young ensign, we're looking at control or reason.
Trusting the instruments of the ship, he will use control. And
okay.
I think I would like to spend a momentum to buy an extra dice.
Okay. And science.
So it'll be a control with science. Right.
Okay. So we're looking at 4 dice, 2 of which are going to be rolled by Ron.
Oh, okay.
Oh, 2 of which will be rolled by Ron?
Ship.
He can roll all his dice, can't he?
No, I mean, I have my base 2 plus the momentum.
Yeah, we're getting there, right? So you're rolling 2 and your momentum, right?
Okay. So
Ron is rolling the
3.
assistance from security officer Korsakov and the ship. 5, we're at the maximum pool.
Okay, gotcha. Here we go. Do I need to determine, am I making the same roll? Control and reason?
Yes.
Okay.
Go.
Oh,
Lead
wait.
rolls.
Wait. I'm confused. I'm terribly confused, actually.
Okay.
Hang on. Control and reason are both attributes.
Control and science.
Science, my mistake. Okay, so I
have the same choice of.
Okay. Yes.
Control science, reason science.
Okay, I'm fine. Control science is fine.
Okay, so the way I'd like to do it is that the lead will roll. If the lead fails, there's no reason for the other person to roll.
So my rolls are a 1, a natural 1, a 5, which is under the control science target number, and a 17, which is over. So that the 17 is a fail.
Yep.
I would have 3 successes according to my count.
Correct.
Okay.
Roll the assists.
The assist gives us 1 failed die and 1 successful die.
Okay.
And so you get another success.
Okay. 1 more success. So this is 4 successes. All of this is now momentum in your hands.
What was the target number?
The target number was 0.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
For
let's-
momentum.
Let's take 2 of those again to create an advantage out of this.
Absolutely. That's the stealth or whatever, or who knows? Yeah.
You may
This is
want
a-
Yeah.
to use them for a momentum spend called obtain information. I'm going to give you
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's
give you a
one
certain
point
amount of
for
information
for-
from the skillful use of the sensors anyway, but you might want more than what I tell you in that initial blurb.
That's right. Okay.
Okay. So, first off, the ship is powered but stationary. It is responding to automatic ship level hails, like RFID kind of sensors between the ships, so that both ships are recognizing that they're Federation ships and they're supposed to be there. The most obvious point that the captain needs to know from the sensor check is that there are 0 life signs aboard.
Ooh.
And the ship is, as I mentioned earlier, not in orbit. It's basically adrift, except we're very close to a Lagrange point, so it doesn't really have anywhere to go.
Yellow alert.
Does the captain agree with the yellow alert?
Yeah, yellow
hold on
alert. Then pause. Recommended.
Hold on that, Lieutenant. Let's get some more.
I'm so not
is that-
used to taking orders from this guy. And I'm like,
Yeah.
there we go. No problem. Right.
Under advisement, hold on that thought. Was that our extra information included?
No, that's the basic information. So
Basic
now you've got
sensors, right.
4 momentum in hand, plus you've got
Yep.
momentum in the pool.
We'll certainly buy some information.
Well,
So
that's
just
up
to
to
check
Is
how
that-
many
yeah.
how many do we have in the pool right now? Are we maxed out at 6 yet? And these
No.
are excess. Okay.
One piece of information for one
Per
momentum,
point.
is it?
Yes, that's the price.
Okay. Do we have to buy both right now, or can we buy one and then choose to buy another?
Yeah, oh yeah, it can go on.
Okay. Well, I say let's buy one, see what it gets us, and then we may choose to buy another.
Yeah.
So 1 momentum for a little more information, please.
Okay. The ship shows no signs of external damage. Its shields are not up. Its engines seem to be operating normally.
Can we direct a question for the sensor role, like asking if there's anything else nearby?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay.
It's obtain
I
information.
suggest,
Right. So what do you want to know? Rather
I
than
would-
having
So
the
that
game
means-
master vomit out random
Yeah.
facts.
I would say use 1 more momentum to find out if there's anything else nearby. Any other ships, any unusual anomalies, anything in orbit that we might not expect in this area. Okay.
Okay.
Floating space entities, cloaked enemy ship, etc.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There, according to the database, the memory banks for this system, all the solar bodies and dust clouds are where they're supposed to be at the densities they're supposed to have. Actual sensor activity by your ship to see if something has passed through such a dust cloud or something like that could reveal more information, but that's a different
Additional,
activity
yeah.
for later on if you care.
Okay.
But right now there are no other ships in the system. And there's no reason to expect any Federation ships to be in the system. You're here to support the Potemkin in this crisis response of an isolated outpost.
Well, assist seems an understatement at this point. What's the crew? What's how much does the Potemkin? Why am I having so much trouble asking this ordinary question? What is the size of the crew on the USS Potemkin?
400.
400. I'll even say it out loud. I'll say 400 missing crewmen, sir.
Understood, Lieutenant. Continue threat assessment. Let's hold our position for the moment. And Lieutenant Smith, please, well, there's probably not much sense hailing the Potemkin. Please hail the colony.
Standard operating procedure indicates I should hail the ship. Anyway, sir, would you like me to not do that?
By all means, hail, see if there's an automatic message.
So she gets very busy at the console, sending out the initial messages.
I'm liking Lieutenant Smith. She's got some balls.
I give a weak signal from the colony. I'm trying to clean up the message. There's no response from the Potemkin.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
You know, she has her strange earpiece in.
God, that thing looks so uncomfortable.
You know? A literal earworm.
Yeah.
Let me know as soon as you have the colony.
She goes, on main viewer, sir?
Right. What should we put on main viewer? Can we, how clear can our main viewers get? Can we inspect the colony? Can we, let's put
she's connected to the colony, and she was asking if she wants a message on the
this
main
is a phone call.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please, on main viewer.
So it's all distorted, you know, there's color bars and there's bursts of static, and you know, it goes black and white and full color, and the image is just waving, and you see the mouth is moving, but you can't make out through the static what's being said, and it takes several repetitions, and you know, she's trying to clean it up, and whatever the source of the disruption is, sir, it's at the colony. Right? And the question finally comes out like a booming volume out of all the static. It's, how could you do it, Potemkin? How could you do it? There's no idea which ship he's communicating with. You know, you see blood is running down into his face. It looked like distortion of color from the signal from before, but now.
Federation Outpost, this is Commander Triak of the USS Avicenna. Please state your emergency and let us know what we can help. Please send us an update.
Another squeal of static, and there's, you've killed us. You've killed us. And there's this huge explosion. And very calmly, Anya Smith says, I've lost the signal, sir.
Security, yellow alert. Let's move in closer and scan the colony. We need to look for potential problems, potential survivors, life signs, anything that might help us with what's going on here.
Mobilize or prepare the new shuttle for mobilization, Captain.
Good idea. Send word down to Medical Bay that we may need that shuttle sooner than we thought.
Permission to go personally, sir?
Granted.
Okay, so moving straight to the elevator.
Pilot the shuttlecraft, sir.
I need you on the bridge for now. Let's.
Yeah, I'll shoot a look over my shoulder. It's like, hey. So I'm hitting the elevator. I'm going to go and hopefully meet Jim down there to, you know, I don't know, probably wanted him to stay here, but if we got to evacuate people, take important shit down there, you know, I'll even like exchange a look with Lieutenant Smith. She'll no need to say, she'll nod and say alerting transporter room.
Okay.
Lieutenant Korsakov, prepare a team of 2 security officers as well on standby, either for the medical shuttle or transporter.
Aye, aye, sir. And the door closes, as he's on him on.
And as the security officer, you can just do that. That's part of your shtick.
Done.
I am spending 2 threat to introduce. I'm trying to spend 2 threat. There we go. Spending 2 threat to introduce a complication, which we're going to learn about very soon in the shuttle bay.
Oh, fuck.
Right. Now, as you recall, the shuttle bay is a new installation on the Avicenna, and rearward, and it has to be situated around the impulse drive engine room. So
the staging of it, you can tell this is a new piece, right? We walk off the old piece, and in fact, and if that's the case, I'll just give a look around. It's kind of like I'm not that familiar with this, this arrangement.
So you have 2 access points. You can enter in the top of the shuttle bay from one deck. I've given you the deck plans for where access is, or at the craft level of the shuttle bay. So if you had visiting dignitaries aboard who were brought up by shuttle, right, they would be taken out to where the diplomatic suites are.
Right.
The top.
No, we're headed straight in practical to the craft level, as I'm sure you can imagine. At this point, I emerge with my magically appearing red shirts, right? And and so I'm hoping, Jim said he was going to be down here screwing around, right? So.
Oh, and he's in the middle of an argument.
Oh, gotcha. All right then. So we're showing up, and I'm real curious. In fact, I'll even say, Doctor.
1 minute, and he's not physically threatening the crewman, but there's that body language that says, "Oh, there's a great deal of restraint being exercised."
But there might even be like a hand signal to my security guys, just hand signal,
Right.
Watch, don't do anything.
So we had a long shot of the shuttle bay. We're looking over the gull wing swept view of
ship porn.
of
that shuttle is a beautiful shuttle.
Oh man.
Right. So we sweep around the rounded front, and we're looking over Jim's shoulder at the entry doors as the security team comes in, so we can register very closely on whatever emotional reaction Korsakov gives us to the implied violence of the situation.
Definitely spots it, definitely signals his team, his men.
And we're coming in mid-conversation as, why is it here if it cannot be flown?
Mm-hmm.
And there's this stammering, well, I didn't get all the details, but, computer systems down, sickbay material down, warp engines need to be tuned. It's brand new from the factory, not at all prepared for use. And he's the poor crewman, just an enlisted crewman. He's pointing over at the standard shuttles, the Type 4s, saying they're ready to go.
Okay, maybe it's time. Ensign, crewman. I'll say crewman, right? Not ensign, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, crewman. Stand down, and I'm very unthreateningly to Jim and say, let me guess. Ooh, and it's the 60s. I can say this, and it's not bad. I can look at I'll look at Jim, and very much, guy to guy. It's like total cock up, like question mark.
Yes.
What do you recommend? Should we transfer some of the supplies and capabilities from this, and I'll look at it and say, shiny thing, to the working shuttles? Or I can throw a team of engineers on this thing and start sticking things to things. What's your recommendation?
Both, and fast. The outpost, according to my information, has just short of 500 souls. If their pressure dome is cracked, we won't need any of the shuttles, and we might as well just move over to the chapel.
Well, the transporter team is ready to get a team down there and to get up whatever we can, but the conditions seem horrible. We may well need the shuttle capacity. So I can take over here. Do you want to command the emergency actions at the I recommend that you command what's going on at the transporter room.
Fair enough. Although I expected to coordinate from sickbay.
I think we're going to need your eyes on whatever's happening down
Captain's
there.
decision.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's maybe it is. Yeah. Okay. All right. Check with the captain, maybe. Yeah, check with the captain. See what he says. And right now, I'll take your advice. I'm going to start like getting people like really super important medical stuff that's spiff for the new shuttle. We're going to get a couple as much as we can, or at least something practical, into the working shuttles. I'm going to make sure that there's shuttle pilots ready to go.
As Jim leaves to go set up triage arrangements, he says, have the away teams report to sickbay before they go to the surface.
Acknowledged.
Then Jim reports all of this to the captain.
Excellent. I was wondering who was going to do that. Excellent. Okay, so we're down there trying to optimize our shuttle capacities at the moment. I'm going to focus more on the transfer to the working shuttles rather than the quick, speedy repairs, or I'll have somebody doing that, but I'm really going to prioritize getting the other two shuttles, loaded with as much better stuff as we can.
Right.
Does the report to the captain involve the shuttle situation?
All of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, from the captain's chair, I need to coordinate a number of different things, and I'm going to try to convey all of this information to the different stations. To sensors and cons, we need a good scan of what's going on down at the surface, what the danger is, what kind of time we have left. We need information about whether we need to evacuate or fix. Which of those are options at the moment? I'm going to send 2 communications to engineering. 1 to send someone, if we have a shuttle specialist, to send them to the shuttle bay to jury rig anything to get that ship moving as quickly as possible.
And
Doesn't need weapons, doesn't need anything. It just needs to fit a whole bunch of people in the bay, if needed. Have it ready to move and cram people in. Those are the 2 priorities. For the other part of engineering, I need at least 1 expert on the away team of hostile environments to come with us down for an away team to help us inspect the outpost. And so we're on the away team. I think we will need at least 1 medical expert. We will need someone engineering. We will need the security team for sure, head of security plus the 2.
This is the people who are beaming?
Yeah, these are the people that are going to beam in.
Okay, done what I can. Hearing this, and I look at the shuttle bay situation, everybody beavering away, and it's like, oh shit. Hope they do okay.
That's if the scanning people tell us that beaming in is possible. if
Right.
we.
So I'll
yeah,
I'll stand by on that.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Now I need to do a time check. How are we for time? We're coming up on the 2-hour mark.
Mhm.
Okay. We could call it here and
We've got a good crisis point to pause
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there's one more little thing that I need to do,
Mhm.
right? And that is this. Oops, sorry.
Oh, anticlimax.
Always. That's my middle name, actually. There. Share. I'm doing this.
Oh,
Ooh.
removing threat?
I'm spending
Ending.
Oh, spending.
All of it.
threat
Uh-huh.
so that
All
I
of it.
can buy something.
Right.
Don't guess anybody. I just had 3 guesses pop into my
That's-
head and I realized I don't want to say them. Right.
That's a lot of threat. I think I know exactly what it is.
Yeah, me too.
Mhm.
We'll compare after we're both fooled.
So we
Right.
won't find that out till next time?
No, I want to
Yes.
know.
Yes. So Dad's shifting uncomfortably on the couch, and he's saying,
Mhm.
"Well, maybe they can't use the shuttle because there's not enough in the budget." You know?
Yeah.
And we have an image of the captain standing on the bridge, issuing these highly organized, logical orders. And what nobody notices as they are all busy doing these tasks in the slightly undermanned bridge, which is all, inconveniently arranged, nobody notices in the astro navigation consoles the momentum detector registering movement. Doot, 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 approaching
In orbit.
your
Uh-huh.
position.
Ooh.
And then we go to the mid-hour commercial, and Dad rushes off the fridge to get a beer, and we draw the curtain down on this first half of episode 1, our
Mhm.
pilot episode of Star Trek.
Very cool.
Excellent.
Yep.
Thanks very much. I'm going to go over to Looperman and find a suitably brassy or vocal intro for us.
Now, between
And
this week and next week, I'll be putting up a suggestion for our particular tweak of Space: The Final Frontier.
oh yeah, yeah.
Right. So the Enterprise has To Boldly Go where no one has gone before. We'll be inserting our crisis response, right, to defend those.
Mhm, mhm.
That will go in there. But there's some other little tweaks that need to be made, and then you guys can play with it as you like.
Can I ask, Joe? Can I ask you something about your character?
Sure.
Visually, how is he not Spock?
He is, yeah. I think there was probably one main criteria when I was designing the character, and that was not to be Spock.
Right. So I want to see it. Yeah.
Right. So he is quite young, probably closer to the first pilot Spock than the later Search for Spock. He is very lean, much leaner and longer in the face, and probably paler. So,
I was thinking of something. When we saw actual Vulcans
Mhm.
in Amok Time, they looked really Asian
yeah.
in comparison, right, to the Mark Leonard and Leonard Nimoy, look. So is that sort of a motif that we could expect here?
Sure, yeah. I haven't given much thought. Like definitely a pale skin, maybe a little bit more of a yellowish tint.
Mhm.
The hair is more of a very, very sandy light brown.
Interesting.
So not as dark
Mhm.
black as the Spock look. And the same with the typical Vulcan
Mhm.
eyebrows. Fairly tall and lean, sort of
Mhm.
almost gaunt and fluid looking. Definitely not a muscular type.
Mhm.
Cool.
Okay.
What about Ensign Yang?
No goatee.
Right.
What about Ensign Yang? What's he visually?
Well, fresh face, clean shaven, 20-year-old something, possibly of Chinese descent.
Mhm.
Is there anything distinguished features? Well, he will definitely not be like Sulu.
Right. Right.
Maybe more of a slanted eye, and not playing on the stereotype, but that's just how they tend
Descriptive.
to look like. Yeah.
Is he
But
closer
yeah,
to a Chekhov in demeanor?
No,
Or
I
totally
would say let's maybe put in like a slightly more mature looking Wesley.
Oh, okay. Right. 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 No,
Really
that's good.
competent,
Good.
capable.
Right. Right.
Yeah, a more capable Wesley.
Mhm.
Yeah, but in the Chinese skin. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
Cool.
I'm liking it. And just another look, Anya Smith.
Anya Smith will need to be rounded out more
Okay.
by interactions with her. She's a little bit older. Maybe she's passed up some opportunities for promotion or transfer because she likes.
Right. Right. One last question, so that we can throw it in as important dialogue later. What is the name of our not any captain anymore? Not our captain anymore.
Oh,
What is the name
right.
of that person?
Oh,
Yeah.
yep.
Family name is Anders. Right, and in keeping with the naming traditions of the captains, he has kind of a strong kind of first name. He's Stone Anders, Commander Stone Anders.
Actually, that works because Anders, as a Swedish name, could easily have the first name Sten, which means stone, which is a common Swedish first name.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So he's dramatic. He's a cold warrior type.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like he's Rock, right?
Yeah.
He's Rock Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he's been taken away from his crew, and
Right.
the chief
Is-
medical officer is now.
Do we
in his
know, or
crew.
are we? I mean, just this is table talk now. I'm not even saying is it for sure, but we have not yet established whether he's back there on the space station. I guess he is, right, where we were dry docked at least.
Yep, he's
So he's not on board.
not on board.
Yeah.
And the bridge was surprisingly empty.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Other
clearly,
key crew have been removed and not necessarily replaced, right? Just from one shift.
Right.
But none of this is explained in the pilot.
No, we'll get there, or at least incidental dialogue at most later. So cool.
Casting hasn't been done yet.
No uniforms or project.
No. We're in
Pajamas.
good shape here.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that needs to be decided is the name of the campaign itself. It's difficult to do this up front because
No, we should figure that out. I mean, come on. I mean, look at all the twists and turns that the actual pilot, parenthesis S, underwent. So we can work that shit
we
out.
got some time.
Yep.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good start.
Yeah. Good start. Definitely a good start.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Take care.
Take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.